Living off grid, is it for you? If it's your first time or even second or third time buying land, you might be seeing some properties online where they have more of an off-grid lifestyle. You might be wondering, is this something for me? Is this something that I can do, or is it too difficult? I'm gonna answer some of those questions. Hey there, this is Matthew. I'm one of the account executives here at Discount Lots. Here we aim to help and assist people buy land easily and affordable. In this video, I'm gonna address some of the things that you need to ask yourself if you're considering to buy land off-grid, so that you can see if it's something you are comfortable with. So if you wanna buy land off-grid, you need to consider some of these conditions. Number one is that you're gonna be really far away from cities, some civilization more than anything. If you have some health conditions and you need to go to the doctor regularly, this might not be for you because a hospital might be an hour, 2 hours away. If you're somebody that works from home or likes to be on the phone a lot, you might not have reception on these off-grid properties, so you're not gonna be able to have that communication. Because you're so secluded, getting things like groceries or supplies are pretty difficult to obtain, so you really have to plan a trip every time you're gonna go into, like a Walmart or just in town just to get something, even a Home Depot. It takes a lot longer to plan something like that because it could easily be a 2-hour trip just driving there and back. Some of the other things you need to consider is, job security. Because you're gonna be living off grid, there's no jobs that you're gonna be easily able to get to. Again, you're probably at least an hour away. Is that a commute that you wanna do every single day? Then you have other things like, bars or nightclubs, movie theaters, any sort of recreational activity, really, you're gonna be really far from it. If you like eating at restaurants, you're not gonna be able to do that kind of lifestyle if you live off grid. And the last thing about being so far away from cities is that it's gonna take an adjustment to get away from the city lifestyle. If you're somebody who's grown up in the city all their life and is used to getting all these amenities and used to getting going to the restaurant, Uber Eats, all these other things, if you're used to that kind of stuff, it's gonna take a while to really get used to having nothing like that. Number two, some of the things you need to consider is the external threats, something like wild animals or natural disasters. Living off grid means that you're gonna be exposed to a lot of other things that you're not usually exposed to in the city. And a lot of these off-grid places, you have wild animals, you have things like bears and wolves, deers, there's wild boars. There's a whole lot of different things out there that you're not going to be used to. So you really have to be prepared for something like that. And the reason why you want to be prepared is because these are potential threats to you, your safety, and just your life in general. And it might not be just these big animals. You might have snakes, spiders, just any sort of bug, even, really, it can be a potential threat to you. And then for like the natural threats, you're thinking earthquakes, landslides, even fires are potentially hazardous to you living off grid. If you have a wildfire in a forest, if you're living off grid, there's really nobody that's going to be able to help you out. It's going to take a while before somebody can get there and help you. So that's something you really have to consider. And then the biggest thing you need to consider when living off grid, and if it's right for you, is utilities. You're not going to have things like water, sewer, power. We already talked about, phone lines, internet lines, or anything like that. It's a huge adjustment to get all these resources on your own. You're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna get power. Is this gonna be solar? Is this gonna be, wind? Some sort of way, how are you gonna get power? How are you gonna get clean water? Are you gonna dig a well and then you're gonna have, what kind of filtration system are you gonna use? Are you gonna do rainwater? Again, what kind of filtration system are you going to use? And then not a utility, but one of the things you really need to consider is food. Like, how are you gonna get your food? Is this something that you're gonna make weekly trips to get to, your Walmart, get a lot of stuff, then move it over to your house, and then that lasts you for the week? Is it gonna last you for the week? So those are things that you really need to consider if you're gonna live off grid, because you're not gonna have all those easy things. Living off grid can be a blessing, but at the same time, it's not the easiest thing to do. If you're thinking about buying off grid to build your dream home, there's no power, so you're gonna have to figure that out. If you're buying off grid, you need to think about the external threats, animals. How long is it gonna take you to build this lifestyle? How long is it going to take you to grow your own food? What happens during emergencies? What is the protocol for you? What are you going to do about that? Something to even consider is family. Do you have family members that you that live with you? Do you have family members that visit you often, or do you want family members to visit you? How are they going to find the property? Things like that are things that you really need to consider. And then one of the other things that you need to know before you live off grid is, what's your transportation like? How are you going to get to that off grid location? Most off grid locations don't have the easiest roads. If they have dirt roads, they're still not the best. You're going to need a 4x4 in most of these cases. Do you have a 4x4 right now? Is this something that you can get? And if you do have a 4x4, is it reliable? How often is it breaking down? Do you know how to fix it on your own? Because if you're on your way to your off-grid location, what happens if it breaks down? Are you able to fix it? Do you know how to do that kind of stuff? Or are you gonna have to call somebody to come out there? It's probably gonna be very, very long before somebody does, and it's probably gonna cost a pretty penny before somebody fixes your vehicle. So those are some of the things that you really want to ask yourself if you're considering to live off grid. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it. If you have any comments or questions, make sure you drop that below. Subscribe to this page, click on that bell notification, because we have a whole ton of videos like this one that we're going to be dropping throughout the coming weeks. That's it for today's video. Once again, my name is Matthew. I am one of the account executives here at Discount Lots. We make buying land easy and affordable. If you want to find some land, make sure you go to www.discountlots.com. We have a whole ton of properties, no credit checks, background checks, income checks. It's super simple to buy land with us. No 20, 30%, to buy land or down payments or anything like that. Everybody qualifies. It's as simple as just $301. And we have a bunch of account executives like me that can help you navigate all our properties and that lifestyle that you might be thinking about doing. So if you need any help, make sure you reach out to us, because we're here to help out. See you on the next video, guys.